All right. Greetings, Chudlins. Welcome to another episode of Chuddy's Corner. It is now Thursday, January 23rd. It was Wednesday, January 22nd when this game started. Celtics win an overtime thriller, I would say, against the severely hobbled Clippers. Well, not really hobbled, but severely rested. I think soreness was the key word in most of their injury reports. Celtics get the 117-113 win in overtime. This, I think, will go down as the Jaden Springer game. He came in and started making absolute difference on the defensive end. What did he finish with for steals? He had at least four.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just an absolute monster when he came in there, completely shutting down Porter Jr., who was going off. But I'll bring you in on this one. Chud, what'd you see in this game? I mean, shout out, first of all, anyone who stayed up for the game. I feel like we all kind of bonded in something there. It was like, like soldiers in battle. It feels like that game. When it went to overtime, the sense on Twitter was palpable that people were a little freaked out. But what did you think about this game? I'm sleepy. I'm delirious. Take over.
No, I mean, this was a great game. It was not one that really could put you to bed, believe it or not. I think we all saw the Clippers injury report and saw most of their rotation players were resting. They obviously, thanks to the cancellation because of the fires, they have this crazy stretch here where it's basically a back-to-back, one night off, and then another back-to-back. So this is their third game in 4 nights, and they have another game tomorrow. So basically just chose to punt against the Celtics and hope they can pull one out against the Wizards. Obviously,
it's a good strategy against us. Just
it kind of makes sense.
Best players, yeah.
As much as it feels wrong in that scenario. I mean, 4 games in 5 days for a team full of mostly veteran guys is pretty nuts. If you got to pick a game, can't really hate it. But at the same time, I think we all saw that and figured like, oh shit, don't take this for granted. And we've seen it a million times where guys are just like empowered into a new role, play with nothing to lose. And you saw that right out of the gate. I actually saw the Celtics came out playing really well the first quarter, especially the first 6 minutes back and forth. Like neither team could miss. The Celtics were just not even touching the net on some of their shots. It was like 20-19, like 5.5 minutes in. Both teams just could not miss. For the Clippers, it was like a tale of the quarters. First quarter, Derrick Jones Jr. show. Absolutely could not miss. He had 17 points in the first quarter. Going absolutely crazy. We obviously remember him from the finals with the Mavericks. It was just ridiculous. I thought the Celtics were playing pretty good defense, and he just could not miss. Best quarter of his career by far. Then in the second quarter, Amir Coffey's turn. Probably the best quarter of his life. I think he had 12 points in the second quarter. Same thing. Couldn't miss. Again, mostly good defense, I thought. And these guys were hitting contested mid-ranges and just crazy three-pointers. Some just ridiculous defense, and they would not miss. Even at halftime, I think it was like 60-59. I really didn't feel like the Celtics were playing poorly or like playing down to their level. Their defense definitely could have been better, but I thought the offense overall was crisp. They were making shots, getting up a ton of good looks. And the Clippers were just staying in it with ridiculous shot making. I was kind of hoping, a little focus in the third quarter, put out a nice 6 minutes and la-di-da, this one would be over. Anything but the case. Came out and just played an awful third quarter. Super, super sloppy. I mean, the amount of turnovers was absolutely ridiculous. So many just like mental lapses and bonehead plays. And then in the third quarter is Kevin Porter Jr.'s turn. He took over, had probably the best quarter of his career. Like literally, I would say all 3 of those guys, at least scoring-wise, I'm sure had the best individual quarter of each of those guys' career. And those were probably the 3
That's
best
like
players
kind of a unique
uniform.
take on teams just being really sick against us having 3 different guys do it. Usually,
it was wild. It was absolutely wild. And
a
they
new
all
variant.
just were awesome. And we were in for a dogfight. I mean, they were up as many as 5-6 points. It was crazy. We were really losing the plot, and it was frustrating because the Clippers, at times, they looked like the friggin' Bad News Bears out there. I mean, they ended up with like 20-something turnovers. They were just throwing the ball out of bounds.
We didn't take advantage of that at all.
But it was literally just the shot making. They're getting offensive rebounds. They're killing us with second chance points, and they're killing us with their ridiculous shot making. But like we were constantly turning them over. The defense, it seemed like it almost got worse as the game went on. Like we were putting up a good fight. And we just couldn't believe they were fighting through it. And eventually they were just like in the game, turned into a dogfight. And then, as you alluded to, the big move, looking for some energy and anyone to possibly stop Kevin Porter Jr. from slicing through our defense. Joe decides to dust off Jaden Springer.
There he was.
And obviously we had some guys out. So Shireman saw first quarter minutes while she was playing in the first quarter. We were going through the bench, but didn't go to Springer until the end. And I think that was matchup wise. Again, it was Porter Jr., a quick little guard who was just getting past everyone. Didn't have Drew Holiday as an option. Not that should be an excuse. I mean, between the Jays and Derek White, we should be able to stop anyone we put our
all
mind
of
to.
those guys. Yeah,
but
this was the Celtics, or this was the Clippers, like way back bench. So
yeah.
I don't want, this was.
But I mean, KPJ is one of those wild, like, he check guys. He had a 50 burger in an NBA game, so I was like, when he can get hot, and we saw it, and he was hot as fuck. But Jaden Springer came in, and man, I mean, we know like exactly what he is, but to just see it like that, he's a fucking weapon on defense. He had 2 steals, I think maybe on the first 2 possessions, and I'm telling you, in that third quarter, KPJ was doing whatever he wanted. It was slicing and dicing through the defense every time. He came in, the first move, he crossed over, Springer just took the ball away from him. I think he took it from Terrence Mann the next possession. He didn't come out of the game. He came in and played the final. He came out for like a couple offense-defense substitutions just when we didn't want him in for like free throw shooting. But he essentially played the entire last probably 3 minutes of the third, entire fourth, and entire overtime. And deservedly so. He was arguably our best player. His defense was unbelievable.
You could tell they were scared to send the ball anywhere near
him. They were literally like, KPJ would do a move, he'd stay right with him, and he'd just pass the ball and go into the corner. He was getting over 2-3 screens a possession and catching up with guys. So I mean, as crazy as the 4 steals were, it went beyond that. Like, just go watch the tape, and the way he was just dogging guys was just fun to watch. I mean, he was amazing, and there's nothing.
It was like the opposite of the seal, whatever the opposite of being the seal was. Like, they were trying to keep the ball as far away from him as possible.
It was crazy. He legitimately swung the game with his defense, with his energy. It was contagious. Should have led to a Celtics big win, and then just an absolutely insane sequence in the last 30 seconds, which seems like it's happening every other game these days. Like, we cannot have a normal ending to the game. And some of the things are just bad execution. Some of the things are just bad luck. And some of the things, a couple times it seemed like the refs totally lost control of this game. Joe almost, I thought, was going to do something horrible to the
timeout by any means necessary.
But the refs got to do a better, you got to be looking for the timeout in that first situation. You go back, I don't know if you've seen like the aerial view of the play when Jalen eventually got called for the offensive foul, which there were multiple calls that not even necessarily were bad calls, but it pisses me off so bad. There's a ref right in front of that play staring at it, and it's the guy from the complete other side of the court coming flying across to call an offensive foul. It's like, dude, you're 3 people away from you. The 2 closer refs, one who's standing right in front of it doesn't see it. You're going to come flying across and make that call in that spot is insane. But furthermore, right or wrong call, if you go back and look, Joe is jumping up and down at half court, running all the way across, trying to call a timeout for like 4 seconds before that happened. That's why he was losing his mind. And the refs in that situation are trained. You got to be looking at the other end. You don't want him leaving his coaching box, and you got to be looking to see if he's calling timeout in that situation. He clearly was. That's why he was so pissed off. And then the next play, when he got the timeout, he almost had to come and tackle the ref to get our attention. Like, you got to be looking for that. My God. So that was brutal. And then on the final play, like, I can't even be mad too. They kind of like let Coffee go in for that layup. But at the time I was thinking, like, the Clippers aren't going for 3. Like, okay, thank you. So our ball with 10 seconds left, if even, throw it into Jalen. They trap him. He splits it, just kind of gets stuck in midair and just turns around to pass it out. And Derek Jones is right there, steals it.
I don't understand
takes it all the way for a layup.
Throwing the ball. Like, why don't you just curl? Like, at that point, you're trapped. Just like curl up with the ball. Like,
I mean, obviously an awful play.
We do that all the time. We just throw the ball. We jump up in the air, and then we're like, oh, shit, I have like 0.3 seconds to figure out what I'm doing here.
Yeah, just
see it all the time.
Just super careless. I mean, obviously, hindsight's 20/20, but I mean, you'd be better off just holding it, even taking a jump ball. We had a timeout.
That's what I'm saying.
Obviously, they don't want to use it, but you can't let that happen. I mean, there's not much to say. It's just an awful play.
And then the very next
execution.
That happens. They score. Awful. They tie it up.
Yes.
And then the very next play, we basically set up the same exact thing. We pass the ball to Tatum now, but basically that same exact area, and he kind of gets like trapped. Like,
so I mean, obviously the play is to get him with the elbow.
Why are we doing?
No, I mean, that was great defense. They bodied him off the spot. They just beat him to the spot, pushed him into the corner. They forced it. That was credit to the defense. They sent a quick trap. Had a guy open, threw it to Derek, and just didn't have the extra second to swing it. So I mean, the result was obviously terrible, but it's not like they were trying to get the ball into the corner.
It's just bad optics.
Yeah,
both like the exact same thing. Back to back.
Things were just spiraling, and just an insane finish to the game. Truly like wild stuff for that game to end up in overtime. Luckily, you could tell the Celtics were pissed off that it got to overtime. To right out of the start, they came out. The execution was completely ramped up. Looked like a different team on the defensive end. Ran like 3 great possessions in a row for 2 threes and a deuce. Got a couple stops, and I think forced like a shot clock violation. It was just like, all right, I think a few, the Clippers are kind of running out of gas and we're kind of taking over. But again, just like got scarily close. There were some things that were crazy in overtime. Like they're playing small with Dirk Jones Jr. at center. I don't know why Cornette is in the game because they're doubling. He's the guy who's ending up with the ball in his hands, being forced to make a decision in the middle of the court. We kind of got bailed out with that one challenge when he like threw it away. But it's like, put in another small guy. Their biggest guy is a wing player, Derek Jones, and Luke can't cover him on offense. He's just getting past him for layups or being wide open for threes. So again, like I know we didn't have our full complement of players to work with, but there's got to be a better option there.
I don't get how is Tillman so buried? Like we have both our big men, Allen, KP, both out.
I don't know.
How is he so buried?
It is weird. He can't.
Didn't we like say like don't leave? Like we'll sign you again. Like
no,
and just
I don't know what he did. Don't know what he did that he can't even get a sniff in a game like this. Where
he did something?
No, I mean not like literally, but it is just weird. He's in the doghouse seemingly. Like I don't know. Like I said, Shireman is playing in the first quarter. Springer got I wonder if it was the bigs getting cooked instead of like KPJ doing the cooking. That if Tillman would have got the shot like the way Springer did, but it is weird that he can't even sniff the court in a game like that. It definitely does seem odd. But I mean, again, it wasn't like the bigs played poorly. It was just a weird matchup with the personnel they were going with and what the game required, and that we're like trying to hold on to a lead. And every time Luke gets the ball, you're like holding your breath the way they're blitzing guys, trapping, and just like they're basically forcing it to be Luke in the middle of the court, having to make a quick decision is like the last thing I want in that situation. So, it's just bizarre. And that kind of like let them back in the game again, made it interesting. And Springer, again, after all that, the dagger three hit two absolute massive threes beyond all the defense. And that just goes to show, I mean, he also had an air ball and a couple other ugly ones, and it takes him a little while to get set.
Those are honestly to me,
leaving him alone.
Those are so funny because he plays like how he was playing so well defensively is almost just like you're just like, all right, it can't. All right, so obviously there's the defect. Like he doesn't have that.
Oh no, I mean, and that's it.
Three.
That's it, 100%. But just man, if like he could get in that gym and just get to be just an average corner 3-point shooter, like literally, that's all he's missing from being an awesome player. But the offense is so brutal. Like I just don't, even in a situation like this, like I don't think you can throw him out there in a playoff game. I mean, maybe for like a few minutes here and there, but it's just you're playing 4 or 5 on offense almost. And I mean, he hit a few shots. Credit to him, and he kept shooting them. Which, because if they're going to leave you like that, you got to shoot. You got to shoot it. And I think it seemed like they were doing it because there was a big possession at the end when Tatum they sent the help, and he just passed it right out to him with confidence, and he stepped in, and drained it. So hopefully, this is a huge game for Springer's confidence. I mean, I don't know how it couldn't be. All we've really been talking about is whether or not they're going to dump his salary to save money before the trade deadline. So now I'm thinking, like, I don't know, man. These guys are defensive weapon off the bench if there's a guard cooking us. So, man, like I said, lock that guy in the gym, in Maine, in anywhere, and just don't stop shooting threes because that you don't really need to be able to do anything else. Like, he's got decent guard skills. He stepped up, hit 2 free throws, looked solid on that. And again, the defense looks about as good as anyone you see on the court, even in an NBA game. Stepped right off the bench and immediately started stopping people. So please just develop any semblance of a three. And I feel bad even saying it because he did hit 2 big ones, but I think, it's... I would
love him just being like a specialist where it's just like one possession you need to stop, put him out there. He hasn't played well, put him out there. Just to steal the ball. I think they might.
I think he has like literally earned that role tonight. How could you not if there's another situation like that? I mean, we're up 6 points against, you name your quick, small, shifty guard in the NBA, and like, why would you not want him out there? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, again, Porter Jr. was cooking everyone in that third quarter.
Yeah. Springer had the 3 to go back up 3, and then Queta though seals it. He's I want a special shout out.
Finally,
first Portuguese-born player to seal a game sealing shot.
That was huge.
So pretty historic moment there in overtime, no less.
And a great pass. I think that was Tatum, who I thought was just gonna. It would have been. I can't say settling. It would have been a pretty solid mid-range jumper, but made the extra pass, trusting Queta, who hit that tough. Like, seemed like he definitely could have just gone up and dunked it. With especially them having like no big men, he had to go like for an up and under layup.
He had a couple like things where he was doing real acrobatic stuff under there, and they weren't going well. So I'm glad this one did.
But he had a great game. Queta was really good, and I saw some like real growth on the defensive end. Just the way he was like not. There were multiple possessions where he wasn't falling for pump fakes, and it's sad how noticeable that is. But like you're just so not used to him actually staying down. And again, these are guys who are 6-7 inches smaller than him, and he's so quick and can jump so high. Like you can afford to wait and react. Like, and that's all he has to do to become. Again, I mean, something I feel like we lived through with the young Rob Williams development, where it was just like, if he could ever kind of harness all of this ability, and I'm not saying Queta has that much ability, but there's some similarities there. And tonight it seemed like he was starting to harness it. I thought he had a really good game on both ends, not just that final play, but
again, I think he had like 11 points or something. Yeah, 11 really points, good minutes, 4 rebounds,
and really good defense too, especially, which is kind of surprising in a game where, again, they're playing Bamba a little bit, but they were mostly playing Kobe Brown and Derek Jones at center, and those are basically small forwards. So no, he did a really good job with that. Very impressed. I mean, it was Queta and Springer were like the stories of the game. I mean, not that the other guys, like the Jays, played well, and White ended up playing solid, and nobody was like bad, but I mean, you'll remember this one for the extra kind of spark by that Springer, especially, and Queta to a lesser extent.
Jaden Springer game. Where were you for the Jaden Springer game?
Yeah, they were friggin' awesome.
Won't forget it.
So ugly game through and through, but overall, like, other than the awful boneheadedness at the end of the game, I didn't really think they played that poorly for a game when you kind of had a feeling the Clippers were going to give a really good shot. It seemed like they took it, and it seemed like the Clippers were running out of gas, and we were going to kind of pull away at the end there, and then the craziness happened. But got out of Dodge with a win at the end of the day, and I'll take that. 2-0 on the road trip. No style points.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, exactly. I had a bad feeling when I saw that they weren't playing everyone. Yeah. It turned out to be valid, but the game, yeah, it was a fun game. Ton of lead changes, ton of ties. Brutal though. Like at one point, there was a realization that like it's 1 a.m. and I'm watching the Celtics struggle against this hospital Clippers team, and just felt like absolute sicko bullshit.
Yeah, but, it was sicko mode. That's the NBA. I mean, it really it's a cliche, but I mean, every team you put those guys in the position, they're all battling, and like we get every team's best shot already. Then we get a group of guys who's also, it's like their chance plus it's the ultimate combination of, all right, all of these guys are going to come out completely fired up, and you saw basically 3 guys have career games against us. So fun.
Wow, first consecutive wins for the first time since a 3-game run from 12-31 to 1-3. Wow.
Yeah, we've been going back and forth on the seesaw a little bit, but I think starting to swing back in the right direction.
No, you got anything else? Should we give out our chains?
One thing I have to point out that I think I tweeted, I forget from my account or the Chuddy's account at the beginning of the game, but it's just wild, and I don't know if
by Chuddy at Chuddy's Corner,
no doubt. I don't know if it's at all by design, but it's ridiculous how many lefties they have. All 3 of those guys who went off against us, Jones Jr., Kevin Porter Jr., and Amir Coffey are lefties. They had Jordan Miller, 25-year-old rookie. He came in. He's a lefty. Obviously, Harden's out. He's a lefty. I would like that can't be a coincidence, right? It seems great. There aren't that many lefties in the league. Like,
it's an interesting concept of just like.
But I was also wondering if that is part of it. Like the Celtics have. I don't think we have any lefties. Like, how often do we practice against lefties? We got cooked by 3 lefties. I think that might be part of it. They're just thrown off. Like, whoa, shit. These guys are fucking lefties. I don't know. I feel like there might be something to that. It's just
there might be
very odd, and for them to have that many of them, 3 lefties on the court for most of the game, like that's crazy. Without their main
that would be
lefty,
a little disorienting because like everything that they're doing,
it's just like the opposite. Like you're so kind of programmed to like stopping a certain side and even contesting to a certain hand, and it's like everything's like it's like the mirror.
Yeah, like you could probably still do it pretty well, like in your head, like, but it's probably a slight difference.
It's a little weird, and something you just again can't really practice for, unless we need to hire like some random lefty from the G League to practice against. I don't know. We might after that. Like shit, is that our weakness, defending lefties?
They need like that Boston Robotics place or whatever to make like a lefty basketball player they can play. Whatever. Don't they have that thing that like shot the basketball? We could make just a lefty version of that.
That might be the move. I don't know.
Might be only an option.
Very weird, very weird. And then the other thing, shout out Shireman again, getting first quarter minutes. Didn't like do anything special, but just solid. Looked confident. Looked like he belonged out there.
Didn't piss his pants.
And Walsh was great. he's burying threes with confidence. Hit a couple, was getting offensive rebounds. Before it became the Springer game, I was touting how awesome Walsh looked. How
Could
he
have been the
like
Walsh
a
game.
legitimate rotation player. So it's weird in a game that almost leaves a bad taste in your mouth for how close it was against the guys we played. I'm going up and down the list. Pretty much everyone played well for the most part. And again, just a few tough minutes, but mostly them doing good stuff. So I'll take that win.
Yeah. I'll absolutely take that win. Wish we didn't have to take overtime to get the win, but we're here. It's where we are.
Hey, opportunity for an overtime win, and we handled it well. So,
did it have to be the 10:30 tip off that you had to take this opportunity?
Even more. It's a good opportunity for us. We're battling adversity.
All right, let's give it. Dude, this is seriously adversity.
What an opportunity.
Honestly, once I saw that Al and KP were out, I should have been like, all right, I'm going to do a little load management tonight too. Like, you're on your own for the pod tonight. Once they're out, it's like, that's actually a good idea. We should probably rest me for that one. If anyone doesn't know, I got the other. I
just saw the injury
Tuesdays. Now I have
questionable
this.
for tomorrow.
Yeah, honestly,
officially questionable going into the morning. Yeah. So I'm hoping you have a good day. Maybe you can make it shoot around.
No Chuddy bar today. I dozed off like until tip off. I set an alarm like right before tip off because I had a feeling something bad was going to happen.
A lot of load managing.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a grind.
No argument here.
All right. Let's go. I mean, I feel like the Chuddy Chains are pretty obvious, but you're first, so go ahead.
I mean,
take it.
We should almost both give it to Jaden Springer. Like, what more can you say?
Is that allowed?
If you had first, I think I was just going to heap him on with a double chain. He doesn't have any this season, and he deserves double 2 Chuddy Chains for that performance. I mean, that was like when we envisioned what the Chuddy Chain was for. I feel like that performance was it.
That couldn't be any more Chuddy Chain. So, yeah. I mean, I'm down to double 2 chains. Yeah. 2 chains, Jaden Springer.
Yeah.
What a moment. All right. Here we go. We're cooking here. All right. We'll do a little around the NBA. You got your all-star picks. You're going to give us some of those.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, yeah, we'll do our all-star picks. Maybe save the other NBA news stuff for tomorrow, back-to-back, and recap all the games and stuff. Because I know you got a lot going on for the all-star game, dunk contest, and such. But before we do that, shout out to our sponsor, Nick Perino Real Estate. Make sure you check out nickperino.com for all of your real estate needs. He's got you covered, whether you're buying, selling, looking, thinking you're thinking, whatever you're doing. Nick Perino's got you covered. He loves Celtics. He loves real estate. He loves helping you get your real estate stuff done easily. Great.
Definitely did not stay up for this game, so he'll be listening to Chuddy's Corner in the morning.
Oh, yeah. Really heat the praise. Oh, my God. He's the best realtor and the best sponsor. And honestly, one of the best people I know.
In his REM cycle of sleep right now.
Yeah. Right now, though, something's ticking. The ears are ringing or something.
He's getting his beauty rest to wake up and sell houses. Come on. That's what he does.
Honestly, yeah. If you have a realtor that was staying up for this game, that guy's a sicko. You want to get rid of him. You want a realtor like Nick who's going to get his sleep, be ready for the day, and be ready to dominate your real estate needs. So check out nickperino.com. That's nickperino.com. He's the best. All right, go ahead. We got the All-Star. So the selections come out tomorrow. Is that what you're saying? I believe
tomorrow on the TNT show Inside the NBA is when they'll announce at least the starters. I forget exactly how it works, but I figured before they announce any of it, the voting's closed, I would just give my starting lineup. So I don't know. I'll go my whole all-star teams for the East and West. So this is not my predictions. This is what I think it will be. I'll throw in a little of my predictions. And you
wait, hold on. So you're saying this isn't This is who you think deserves it?
Was naming the
if you were unilaterally choosing dictator.
I fully believe that some of these won't happen. I'm just saying this is what it should be. If it
this is what it should be. If Chuddy ran the world.
These are the guys who deserve the spots. All right. I'll start in the East. The starters should be Donovan Mitchell at guard, Cade Cunningham at guard, Jason Tatum and Giannis in the front court, and Karl Anthony Towns at center. I don't know if you got any beef with any of that. The Cade one might sound crazy, but I think you go through the list. He's having an unbelievable year, and the Pistons are right now in the top 6, and he's been doing it all for them. So that might raise an eyebrow, and he probably won't get the starting spot, but he deserves it.
Well, to me, just with I know how much ball you are always watching, so the fact that you said that, you thought it might have shocked me, but I go, if he's saying it, there must be a reason. So I'm going to trust you on that one. I'm trying, what my brain was processing was trying to think of other centers in the league because it just seems crazy for Karl-Anthony Towns. But
Towns is having an amazing year. He's in the
I
MVP
know.
race.
For some reason, I just always think of him as just like, ugh. But,
I mean, he's averaging like 26 and 13 on unreal efficiency and playing solid defense, and they're the 3 seed. So.
All right,
yeah,
he gets it.
Embiid has held down that spot. Obviously,
that's what I was saying. It's obviously isn't Embiid. I was trying to think of it. There really isn't any other center that comes to mind anyway. So
yeah, well, so I'll go into my reserves, and then you can see if anything sparks.
That'll help me out.
Anyway, so keeping in mind the bench for these teams, it has to be 2 guards, 3 front court, and then 2 wild cards, which can be either. So for the East reserves, I went with Darius Garland, Jalen Brunson as the guard reserves. Evan Mobley, Jaylen Brown, and Pascal Siakam as the front court players. And then my 2 wild cards, I went 2 guards, Trae Young, and then this one I think will definitely shock you, Tyler Hero for my last wild card spot. Yeah, jokes aside, he's been unreal. He's been easily the Heat's best player amidst all the turmoil. He's kept them pretty steady. I mean, when Jimmy does play, they're just the same team. And I think part of the reason he's pissed is because he knows Hero's kind of past him as that team's guy. We can make fun of him, but he's just been unbelievable this year. He's completely carrying a
but he got thrown to the ground.
Yeah, but he won that game and he had like 32 points. So he interesting. So again, probably won't make it. And then again, 3 Cavs, but I think they deserve it. Jalen hasn't had a great year, but he's still averaging like 24, 6 and 4 on the Celtics, on a team that's 31 and 13, easily the 2 seed. Like, I think the Celtics get a second All-Star. Toughest call, honestly, was probably between Mobley or Jared Allen for who should be the 3rd Cavalier. You could make a case for either. In a down year, if there's less talent, I think you could see this like a Hawks situation back in the day where they got 4 All-Stars. I just think there's too much talent in the league for that to happen. But all 4 of those
guys. The Trae Young one's interesting just because like he's obviously he's changed his game a lot. But like when you think of people think of Trae Young, like, but I do think in an All-Star game he would be very exciting.
He's still the engine that makes it go. He's leading the league in assists and averaging over 25 points. I mean, he's right there. But definitely some tough snubs. Lillard, who will probably make it.
Easy snub.
Might even end up being the starter. I mean, he's having a good year. He's been very good on offense for the Bucks. Zach LaVine, I wanted to put him on there. He's had such a good year. I just couldn't find a spot for him, and the Bulls kind of being behind some of those other teams like the Hawks and the Heat, I gave it to other guys ahead of him, but that was a tough omission. He's been awesome. Again, a guy who is just all he's talked about is as a trade rumor to contract, but he just is going out and playing unbelievably. That was a tough one. And then Halliburton, kind of a snub. I gave that. Siakam's just been their best player this year. So it might seem weird where he was starting in the All-Star game last year. I don't think he can make it. LaMelo is the leading vote getter.
Where's LaMelo? Yeah.
But I just think first of all, he's missed double-digit games. He's missed way too many games. The team is awful. And yeah, I mean, who are you going to take off to give him that spot? I think Hero it might not have as many highlights, but he's just he just contributes more to winning basketball. I value that stuff, and he's available. LaMelo doesn't play enough. Like, I just think he's missed too many games.
That's one of the years where it's like LaMelo's obviously going to probably make the team, but you don't think he should.
Yeah, I just think one of those guys that I have on my team will get snubbed, and I'm not sure. It'll probably be Hero. Hero probably won't make it, but again, I think Dame will too. So it could be 2 guys. So maybe Pascal doesn't make it. I think it's crazy the Pacers wouldn't have a guy. Maybe the Cavs only get 2. Maybe Jalen doesn't make it. Like, someone probably will get squeezed because I bet Dame and LaMelo will make the team. And then not really a snub, but just there's no Magic player I could really make a case for. They're falling off a bit lately, but they've had a good year. But due to guys being out, it's been like a skeleton crew. So yeah, so that was really it. Scotty Barnes, I guess, but again, the Raptors just suck too much. So
that team's just way too shitty.
Too much talent. But yeah, so that's my crew for the East. Any big gripes or?
No, I mean, I think that's fair. I definitely, like, as you were going through them, I was wondering, like, LaMelo, why isn't he on there? But I mean, he has missed a lot of games, but like you said, I'm sure he'll end up there. He's exciting. Like sometimes too, when I think of when I'm thinking of these, I'm like, who would be super exciting to be there? And
if that's what you're thinking of, who will put on a show?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd rather watch LaMelo than Evan Mobley or Tyler Hero or Siakam. But in terms of merit, I couldn't.
No, I think it's a fair list, and it's like you went a little bit off, but it wasn't hot takey. It wasn't,
and it's
just
not like I'm a Tyler Hero fan,
player.
certainly either.
Right.
So it was almost like forced to give him my respect there because he's earned it.
Yeah,
all
that's
right,
fair. I like that.
On to the West.
On to the West.
All right, so for the West starting lineup, I got Steph and SGA in the backcourt. I think that's a lock of what is deserved and what will actually happen. The game's in Golden State, so Steph's always going to start. Shea obviously going to start. Luka obviously hasn't played enough, so he might make it interesting, but I'm sure they'd make a way for him to be in the front court or whatever. All right, and then in the front court, super tough here. I went with LeBron, Wemby, and Jokic. So I mean, I think it'll in reality probably be LeBron, KD, and Jokic. I just think Wemby's been better. And the Suns team is just such bad vibes and so disappointing.
Do you think LeBron is earned starting? He's still at starting.
Yeah, I do. Right. I mean, the numbers are there. He's the only reason people are saying anything bad about him is because he's being graded on the scale of being LeBron. He's still one of the probably 10 best players or so in the league. And the Lakers, I mean, they're in 6th place. So as much as they've kind of been seeming as a laughingstock, and he's played, he's missed one game all year, which is, you gotta salute that. So again, it'll
probably be a family trip, right? That was just more than just in Cabo or something.
No, I mean, it's actually crazy how healthy LeBron and AD have been. It's if I was a Laker fan, I'd almost be nervous.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, right. But so like I said, I obviously have KD on my bench, and he is having a great year. I think it'll probably be. I mean, it's going to be KD and LeBron starting, like it just is with Jokic. But I just think Wemby is a better player over LeBron. LeBron or KD is almost like twist my arm. I almost just gave it to LeBron because it's the Lakers are better, and LeBron is just a better player. And why bother splitting hairs? They're both going to make it. But all right, my bench. Now this is where it gets really, really tough in the West. So for my man, even looking at it now, stop. So for the guards, I have Ant. Ant, I think, is a lock to be a reserve guard.
Yeah.
The second guard spot. This is I don't know if this is cheating or not because I don't know what J-Dub is listed at, if he's a guard or a front court, but I put him as my second guard. Jalen Williams from Oklahoma City. Kind of the same logic as the Cavs.
Jay Will.
Right. The Cavs, the Thunder, they just deserve 2 All-Stars. It's crazy not to. J-Dub's putting up 25 and 5, stud on defense. He's been asked to play center a ton with Hartenstein and Chet out. He's been awesome. Second best player on the best team in the league. Deserving All-Star.
He's been asked to play center and you're putting him in as guard?
Well, yeah. I mean, he is. He's a shooting guard /
he's
small
like a
forward.
Marcus Smart.
Yeah. kind of. But a lot better on offense, especially. Okay, so those are my guards, and then I went with 5 front court players after that. I went with KD, as I said, Jaren Jackson Jr., who's been, I don't know why he doesn't get more respect. I almost had him starting. He's been unreal on both ends for Memphis. He's been their best player this season. Then, this is where it's going to get a little dicey. I went with 3 big men who are all the best player on their team, and I think that these teams just deserved a guy. I went with Alperen Şengün. The Rockets have to have an all-star. They're the 2 seed. He's the guy. I went with Domantas Sabonis. The Kings are creeping up to within a game of the 6 seed. 10-2 since Christie took over. Wow. He leads the league in rebounds, leads the league in 3-point percentage, leads the league in double-doubles. He's 25 and 15. He's just fucking
good
solid.
Resume.
Yeah. And the Kings, they deserve an all-star. Again, for them to be where they are is pretty impressive after what they went through. And then my last one, this is the one that, again, will raise some eyebrows. The team we just saw tonight, they deserve an all-star. They're 5th in the West. They deserve an all-star. Some people want it to be Norm Powell. It'll probably be James Harden. I went with Ivica Zubac. I think Zubac has been their best player. He's been a fucking anchor for that defense out of nowhere. He's turned into a really good defensive center and rim protector. And he's been a fucking rock on offense. He's averaging like 24 and 12, super efficient, really good defense, and that team's playing really, really well. So again, I have Zubats is kind of my Tyler Hero of the West team. Like, I know he's not going to make it, but I just wanted to shout him out because I think he deserves it. So again, I don't know if the Clippers will get an All-Star. If they do, I'm sure it'll be Harden, just kind of because what we were saying of like, it's an All-Star game. He's a star. Yeah. And it's not like he doesn't deserve it. He is having a good year.
Office.
But I just wanted to give the love to Zubats because I think he's been their best player. So anyway, the snubs, this is where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
These are some tough snubs. Harden and Norm Powell, I just mentioned. De'Aaron Fox, I mean, has been good. They're not getting 2 Kings. I went with Sabonis over him. And he was kind of being weird with the trade thing or whatever anyway. So I'm fine with punishing that. Devin Booker, I think, is just going to be weird for people to see that he's not on the All-Star team because it's just like he has had that spot and his numbers are solid, but he's had a rough year. And again, the Suns, they don't deserve 2 fucking All-Stars. KD's been their best player. So, Kyrie is the tough one for me. I went back and forth for a long time on having Kyrie in there because on the one hand, the Mavs, they're still like that 6-7 spot.
Do you not have Luka? Where do you have?
Well, no, Luka's missed way too many games. Luka's missed way too many games.
So that's what it is. He's not going anyway. Okay.
No. Well, I mean, I don't know.
He's still hurt right now.
I don't know if they have rules if he's allowed to, whatever. But yeah, he wouldn't be able to play. He's
okay.
He hasn't played nearly enough games. So Kyrie's kind of been holding it down, but Kyrie's also, he's missed 10 games. He's played in, I think, 34 out of 44 games. He's been awesome. If he had played in 5 more games, I think I'd definitely have him. And he probably will make it because I find it hard to believe the Mavs won't have an All-Star. He has been really, really good. And again, he is a star at the end of the day. They're putting stars in this game. So he's probably going to get in there. And then the last one, Anthony Davis. Again, he's having an awesome year. He's like 25 and 11. Obviously one of the best defensive players in the league. He was in the MVP race the first few weeks of the year. He's tailed off a bit, but still, he's been super consistent. He's played a ton, and the Lakers are in the top 6. So, again, I'm sure they're going to find a spot for AD. I'm sure they're going to find a spot for Kyrie.
Instead of probably like
find a spot for Harden. So, yeah, I mean, Zubats obviously won't make it. And then probably out of Şengün, Sabonis, J-Dub, Zubats, Triple J. Probably like 3 of those.
I feel like the Rockets, like I agree with you that they probably deserve an All-Star, but I feel like they're kind of that team that's like they need to have like a year of getting like snubbed and like that'll end up being good for them. Like they probably do deserve one, but they won't get one because they're just not seen there by everyone yet.
Right.
So, but I think overall that's good for them. I think that'll be good. And, like Ime, that'll be like, they said fuck off.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, they do have a balanced team that's like their strength is their depth and their defense. So it is it's a balanced squad. On certain nights, Jalen Green's their best player. On certain nights, Ahmed Thompson's their best player. On certain nights, Fred VanVleet's their best player. So it's not like Şengün is some crazy like best player on the 2 seed. He's kind of the best of a few guys who all are pretty good. So yeah, that's the list. Obviously a little tougher in the West, and like I said, I fully acknowledge that some of those picks are not going to get there. But I think if you took the teams they play for, the popularity, the star power, all those things out of it, and just were like, who are the 12 most deserving guys in each conference? Yeah. That's who I would get to.
So. No, like I said, I think it was a good list. Not like none of the surprising ones were like gimmicky, hot takey, which I respect.
Thank you.
You can tell, some hard data and some hard screen watching behind all that. All those picks.
No gruff.
So we'll see who they announce probably tomorrow on the TNT show. You said, at least the starters.
Yeah, by the time we go live, we'll know. Or I'm just off and it's next week, but I'm almost positive. I know voting ended on the 20th, so I don't know why they would wait any longer. Like I said, I'm sure they'll at least announce starters, and then. I don't know. I'm sure they've announced it. I forget. I probably heard at some point how they're picking teams because obviously this year it's that 4-team tournament. 4 teams of 8. One will be the Rising Star. So between the 24 East and West All-Stars, there's going to be 3 teams of 8. I don't know how they're going to pick them. I don't know how it's going to be like you're a starter, but you're not a starter, or like I don't really know how any of that's going to work. But in terms of how at least the guys are like picked, it'll still be the way I just did it. 12 guys from each conference and 5 starters. So
because one team's going to end up with an extra starter. If it's 3 teams and there's 10 starters.
Well, yeah, it's more. There's going to be 15 starters, I guess, assuming they're like 5-on-5.
Oh, right. No, yeah. I just more meant like if you're like ranking like the starters, obviously the top 10, like whoever picks first will get the last of the starters, but
Yeah, I wonder. I'm guessing they'll do some kind of draft like they've done. So I don't know if they'll just go
It'd be sick if they
It'll
let the
probably be
teams
like
go positionless
Curry.
too. Like when they
I mean,
draft the
yeah,
teams,
I'm
if
sure
like it
they will.
was
That's kind of what they've done in the past, right? I don't know.
no, I mean like for like drafting, like you don't have to like draft a center here or something like that, you know.
Yeah, I don't think they will do that.
No,
I don't
yeah,
know. I don't
that's good.
know, but
I like that.
I don't think they have in the past. I think the only thing they did when they did the draft was you have to draft the starters first, right?
Right.
I want to say they did that.
Maybe.
So if there's 3 captains, there'll be 7 other starters. So I think the first 7 picks will have to only be the starters. Then they can start picking
Yeah.
all the bench guys. If they do it the way they did it, but we'll see. Should be
Sick if it was
interesting.
just like a straight lotto too, like not even picking, just picking names out of a hat.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know what would be sick if they did? They took all 24, it was 24 of them, and had them shoot for teams. Like that would be sick. That'd be the best way to do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that.
I think that needs to be the way. If they're not doing that this year, they gotta do it next year.
I wouldn't hate that at all.
All right. It's past 2 a.m. What are we thinking?
No, I got a bunch of stuff, but we can do it tomorrow. I just want to get the All-Star stuff before the teams were named. But I think everything else should still be relevant in about 22, 23 hours. Say 22, be ambitious.
That game goes to overtime. At least it starts at 10, not 10:30 tomorrow. We're way better shape.
Like I said, it's gonna
it would
feel
only
early.
be 1:30 if that was this game. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the show. Follow us on Twitter at Chuddy's Corner. Follow him. He's at King Chuddy. Follow me. I'm at Doug_outs. And make sure you subscribe to the show. And if you didn't catch the game, we'll be here tomorrow too for the Lakers recap too. So we're staying up, so you don't have to. Obviously, it's a fun time though when you do stay up. Look at us. Look at how much fun we're having.
I'm having fun.
This is a normal night for you, right? This is like you're usually.
Oh yeah, I mean this has been actually a lovely little time killer before the Australian Open gets going in about an hour and 20 minutes. So yeah, this is perfect. If you want to go another hour 20, I've got nothing to do till then. So
no, I'm good. I think I'll pass. But all right, we'll see everyone back here again tomorrow. Take care.
Peace out, Chuddy heads.